Have you gotten some crazy messages?
Um, I've had a few.
I'm kind of scared to ask that because it's just the internet, you know.
I had someone without context just be like, "Send me a recording of your voice," and I was like, I didn't respond. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. There's plenty of recordings that I paid for. Go listen to those. But yeah, I mean, I've had some crazy ones, but nothing too bad.
What was it like seeing yourself on TV on such a big stage?
Surreal. It was a really cool moment. A lot of people ask me, "Are you going to have, a watch party?" And I cringe at myself talking. I'm fine watching myself sing, and I was like, no. I knew that I would be thinking, well, is this guy cringing because of my, me talking right now? I don't know. And I knew that would kind of rob that from me, that experience. And so it was just my parents and my wife and my two kids. And so it was very surreal, like watching it, and it's like, is this really happening? But it was also a real sweet moment. My kids were featured. They sent in a video, saying good luck. And so to get to share that with them, it was incredible.
What's up, guys? Barrett Freeman here with the PropertyTales podcast. I've got a very exciting, very special episode for you guys. I've got Jordan Allen. He's a local guy, and he just auditioned for a nationally televised singing competition. So how's it going?
It's going great, man. Really glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So you want to tell us what The Voice is, just for those that may have no idea what it is?
Sure, yeah. The Voice, it's all based on blind auditions, and that's where you've got 4 chairs, and they're turned away from the stage, and each coach has the ability to turn their chair if they like your voice, and if more than one turn, then you get to choose whose team you want to be on.
So you just auditioned a few weeks ago?
Yep.
So how did you make the decision to actually even try out for The Voice?
Well, it kind of all goes back to, I would say, December of 23. There's a good friend of mine. His name's Neelan Bolden, and he runs a YouTube channel called the Powell River Sessions. And he had someone from the casting company that works with The Voice reach out to him, say, I really like some of the artists that you've got on your channel. You think they'd be interested in trying out, for The Voice. And he threw my name out there. They liked what they heard. And so he shot my my audition video that I sent into them pro bono, and kind of just all went from there. It's not something that I ever thought super hard about, but when the opportunity presented itself, I thought this is something that I should do for sure.
So you're on stage and you're looking at the back of 4 empty, or I guess the back of 4 chairs. Mm-hmm. What does that feel like?
It was the most nervous that I've ever been. And I knew that I would be nervous. So a great deal of prayer went into that. And, I just wanted to be able to perform, to the best of my ability. Cause I knew that was what I had control over. I had zero control over whether those chairs were going to turn. And, my honest prayer was, if you want this for me, then a chair will turn. And if you don't, then it won't. And, kind of left it in his hands.
Certainly, you probably had what coach you were hoping would turn around.
Sure.
Before, who were you hoping for?
That's
if you're allowed.
Yeah, I think I'm allowed. That's a question nobody's asked me yet. So, just being close to Nashville and knowing Kelsey Ballerini's based in Nashville, I was kind of thinking, well, maybe that'd be cool to be on her team because I'm close. Honestly, the reality that John Legend would turn his chair for my voice was not even in my brain. I thought, no way is that guy going to turn for me. So,
yeah, just from what I've heard of your music and his music, there's not a lot of overlap.
No, we probably have some similar influences. I just know he's very, very picky. And I've always thought of myself more as a songwriter than a singer. So,
how much time from hearing that you were going to be on the show to you actually standing in front of those coaches?
Yeah, it was let's see. That was about 5 months from knowing that I was going to be on the show to actually getting to audition.
Did you do anything to prep in that amount of time?
Well, once I figured out which song they were going to let me do, my prep was practicing. I wanted to make sure that I got that song down as best as I could, and especially when because there's they call them cuts. You know, you get your song cut, and so you don't sing the whole song. You sing a 1.5-minute version of the song, and so just once I got my cut, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to nail this. That was my prep. Just every night trying to sing that song the best I can, figuring out the key too. You got to figure out where you can sing it.
We talked about there's a lot of good artists in this area, southeastern Kentucky. What would be some advice that you would give to an up and coming artist on chasing their dream, if it may be, going to The Voice or?
Mm-hmm. I think just first and foremost, practice. Like, do whatever you want to be successful at. You have to do it over and over, and you're gonna fail. But practice, and then also just like persevere. Like I was talking with someone not too long ago, but it's like there's plenty of time. My wife can tell you plenty of times that I came home and I'm like, why am I doing this? And had I not persevered, I would have never ended up on The Voice stage. And so I just think, if you're meant to do that and you work hard, it's eventually things are going to happen.
We watched the clip again right before we got on the podcast, but Michael Bublé and John Legend, they definitely approached trying to get you on their team very differently.
Very differently. Yeah.
So I don't know how it felt, but John Legend talking about anyway. What about John Legend's advice and approach won you over for his team?
I've always been a hard worker. My dad instilled that in me, and I've prided myself on working hard because coming to music, it came somewhat naturally, but I always felt like I really had to work at it to be where I wanted to be. And John spoke to the work ethic. He gave me constructive criticism, which, I kind of think if you're thinking about it from trying to get someone on your team, that might be kind of a risk to say, well, you could have done this. And I respected that. And I wanted to be with someone who's going to make me better, because if I'm going to spend that time across the country away from my family, I want to come out of it better.
What was his criticism?
He was talking about some melodic choices that I made. I stayed in the kind of the major notes, major runs of it, and then you can kind of in any key, there's you can kind of put some minor notes in there in your vocal runs and things, and that's not something that my ear naturally gravitates toward, and so that's kind of something that he spoke on, and then he also kind of threw a little dig at Bublé. He's like, you can party over there, but you can work on my team. So I just wanted to work hard.
And you have no idea who's even been picked before to know what kind of singers they've got.
No, you don't. Nothing as far as who's on what team.
And how familiar were you with John Legend's music before going on The Voice?
Pretty familiar. My band, we covered "Stay With You." Been together for a while now, so I knew that song. Had to learn it for a wedding, and just really liked it. Familiar with John just as a performer, and I love piano players. He's a great piano player.
So when does The Voice come out every week?
It's Mondays at 8/7 Central on NBC, and then it'll air the day after on Peacock.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
So that we'll have to wait and see in the next episode to see what happens.
That's right. Yes.
So how many weeks typically are there of the live auditions?
I think this year, I think I can say, this year there's 5 weeks. So the last one would air March 3rd. I know this will be airing later.
So I assume the phone's been ringing a lot more for you the last few weeks?
Yeah, definitely, which is good. I've been self-employed since 2018. So, yeah.
Have you been paying your bills with music before this?
Music's my primary source of income. I am also a real estate agent, and
cool.
I mow lawns. So between all three of those, I've been able to do that. But music's the primary. It's the one that I can do all year, all the time.
I want to pull on that real estate thread, and then we can go back to
Sure.
The Voice. But so when did you get your real estate license?
Let's see. Let me think. January of 2022, I think. Yes.
Okay, so you were a pandemic licensee?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I saw that, and I couldn't work during the pandemic because of legislation with my music. Yeah, so I was like, dude, I need to be bringing some money in.
I'd ask who your broker is, but I'm not trying to give them free
I
advertising.
totally get it. I totally get it.
You can say it, but it won't make the edit. So, Josh, when did you get your license?
Same time.
Okay.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
So you looked around, you thought that was a easy barrier or low barrier to?
No, I knew it was a high barrier, and that again, I like to work hard, and I had to work real hard to do that. But something that's very important to me is staying self-employed, which I know, you still have a broker and everything, but you make your own schedule. I mean, your clients kind of dictate your schedule sometimes, but yeah, and that's what I like about real estate.
I don't think a lot of realtors and the public, I don't think they really appreciate that you're getting your real estate license, you're starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you've got a broker that you're licensed under, I mean, you've got to approach it like a 40, 60, 80-hour work week.
Absolutely.
So, and if you're not doing that, you're not making money. And our area is a very low sale, low transaction area. So if you're not hustling, you're not making money.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true.
Have you sold any houses recently?
Yeah, I had a closing at the end of January.
So you're still in the game.
Still in the game. Yeah, I caught my big bill money, but yeah.
Do you think that you'll obviously you're focused on music right now,
Mm-hmm.
but this certainly has to help your real estate side.
Oh, I got a call from someone wanting to do wanting to collaborate like on referrals in Tennessee, like in the middle of my audition, which I appreciate. But I'm like, you think I'm gonna pick up the phone in the middle of my audition?
Like you're actually watching on TV.
I was watching it on TV and my phone's ringing. I'm like, who's calling me? It's this Tennessee number. I'm like, oh, it's a telemarketer. No, they left the voicemail, which I appreciate. But
We gotta get that guy on our team.
Yeah.
He's a go-getter.
yeah,
I could have gotten to you through your phone probably, but I just know how it is with when you're busy and you've got a lot of business. So I went through. I emailed your website.
the booking email. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
So because I hate when someone gets my phone number, calls me out of the blue. I don't hate it. I'm going to edit that from the. But it's just I do always appreciate when people go through the proper channels.
There's a proper channel for it, and I appreciated that very much.
And then when I saw your email back, I was like, wow, that's not happened before.
No, I was stoked to see it, dude. I was very stoked to see it.
Were you familiar with Freeman Brothers at all?
Yeah. So I live on South Dixie in London, and on Fletcher, you all redid this house. I would say maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The house was in rough shape, and y'all made it look great.
Yeah, that was our first big remodel, and we learned a lot of lessons.
Oh, I know a contractor that looked at that house and was talking about like the subfloor and the floor joists. I want to say there hardly any floor joists or something. Yeah,
It was wavy. It was
yeah.
bad.
But you all made it look great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually saw the photos on the MLS and it looked awesome.
Yeah, it came out really well.
Yeah.
The problem with those big remodels is we don't know how to not spend a whole lot of money on it.
It's hard. Yeah.
Have you done any flips or remodels like that yourself?
No, I'd love to get in that game, but it's hard.
Whenever you're ready to get in the game, you call me anytime and we'll talk because
Cool.
it's awesome. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a creative expression, I think. My wife's stepfather, he flips, and just I get to talk to him about it a lot, and it really is like it takes a special kind of brain to look at a house and know the potential of it, even when it's in rough shape, and I really admire that. It's awesome.
It's the only fun part of real estate is the design,
Yeah.
making those decisions, and it's my weakest thing. Fortunately, my brother Blake Freeman, he enjoys that stuff a little bit more. I wouldn't say enjoys is a strong word, but he takes on those projects, and I sell them, and he fixes them, so it works out.
Cool.
So, you'll keep your license going for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think so. This probably sounds bad. I would love to just be able to just do music, but I'm gonna keep it for just in case.
Who did you bring to the auditions with you?
My mom and my wife, they wanted to bring the kids out, but I did not want to put they wouldn't fly 2 adults and 2 kids. They would fly 1 adult and 2 kids, and I didn't want to do that to my wife. That would be rough.
How old are your kids?
5 and 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds really rough.
Yeah, and they were 5 and 2 at the time. So my daughter turned 5 2 days before I auditioned. So
Were you happy they were with you, or did it help?
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, luckily, someone from the show right before I went out was like, if you don't want to see your friends and family, that's what they call them, your friends and family. Don't look in this direction because you will see them. You will make eye contact with them. And I'm glad she said that because I cry at the drop of a hat. And if I'd seen my wife, I would have been like, couldn't have sang.
Oh, so you can see the back of the chairs, and then off to the side, you can see.
Yeah, your family's kind of off to the side, so like they can see you, but they can't see. They're kind of watching on a monitor. They can't see the chair.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. From there, that
Yeah.
they're standing there with
Standing there with Carson Daly. Yeah.
Did you get to talk to Carson any?
No, not really in depth. Just kind of on stage.
Yeah. I guess your wife and your mom spent 5 minutes with him, I guess?
Yeah. The amount of my audition, he was right there, and yeah, my mom you didn't see this, but my mom high-fived Carson Daly, and I was like, man, I used to watch that guy coming home from school on MTV, and my mom just high-fived him. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Big's the crowd how big was the crowd during your audition?
Well, the crowd itself wasn't actually big, I would say. There's people in the audience, but I wouldn't, maybe 70, 60. I don't know.
Can you see them from the stage?
Yeah. Yeah. You can see that crowd, and that actually helped me a lot because I am very used to playing off a crowd. And, I wasn't playing guitar either, and I don't ever sing without playing guitar. And so I was a little uncomfortable like that. But once I saw the crowd, I was able to, interact with them, and, I'm playing to the crowd. So, yeah, you can see them. It helped me tremendously.
So, do you remember the first song that you ever performed in front of a crowd?
I think
Danny Boy in choir in 8th grade?
Yeah, no, it was definitely in choir. He made me sing in front of people. It was probably this old Beatles tune called This Boy, which never made it to a record. But one I don't remember, and apparently it was my debut when I was about 4. I grew up in a small church, and small churches, just anybody can get up and sing. And my brother was a big, you all remember that Presidents of the United States song, Peaches?
Yes,
Move
yes.
into the country.
Yes.
That's what I sang in church. And my dad was like, no, Jesus loves me. So that's the first song I ever sang in front of people. But you should look up the lyrics to Peaches later, and you'll be like, wow.
I will.
That in a church. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, I looked up your YouTube video of the actual live audition today, and it's at 340,000 views.
That's crazy.
Have you looked at some of the comments?
No. I think it's Joe Rogan that says that. That's the number one rule. And I was like, no. And then my wife has a harder time listening to that rule, but I don't do it.
You gotta stay on her. It's not healthy.
No, it's not.
I don't know if you've ever seen some of the comments we get just on posting pictures of apartments. It's just crazy.
People are crazy, man.
I feed off of it, but I'm built a little differently. I just say, it's engagement. It's good. It's helping get in front of more people.
If it's on my post, I'm probably going to engage with it. But something on their YouTube channel, page, I'm just like, it's better to not let the Southeast Kentucky out in me.
Are you active on any of the social medias?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on Instagram and TikTok, and I've become more active on Facebook because I have found through this process that apparently a lot of my demographics on Facebook. I did not, realize that, but I don't. I prefer Instagram and TikTok, but I'm making it to Facebook.
We're trying to be active on all of them, and I talked to a bunch of people that have big follower numbers, and there's just no rhyme or reason to what platform you get traction on.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
Because I post the same amount on Facebook that I do on Instagram and TikTok. I post the least, but TikTok I get if I look at per post number, it's way bigger than anything else. But then for some reason, Facebook's huge, my Instagram's small.
The same posts of mine will do different things on different platforms, and it's not something I lose sleep over. I just try to be consistent and just do that because I think you can get too caught up in that too.
If someone does message your Facebook, are they getting you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still, I'd like to change that, but I ain't got that kind of dough.
Yeah. And this might be secret sauce stuff, but how does it do you have a manager now? How does the business side of it work moving forward?
Yeah, I've actually had a manager a little bit before all this. I can't say exactly how far before because for my manager, it may have been
some overlap or something.
Yeah, so I'll put it that way. But I've had a manager that I have known since 2019, and I'm her only client, and it's just somebody that I really trust. Her name's Leah Binkard, and I trust her with my life, and so. Yeah, I know in the music business, it's really difficult to find people that you can trust. In the real estate industry too, I know that. So when you find someone that has the skills to do it, and then you can trust them, it just made sense for me.
I imagine her life's gotten a lot busier lately.
Yeah. We're still in kind of like, I'm still doing a lot of the booking end of it. Oh, sorry. I'm still doing a lot of the booking end of it. So she hasn't got super busy on that, but she's definitely trying to help me connect dates and get a little busier.
Yeah, did you watch the show before?
I watched it here. I watched The Voice like here and there. I don't think I had ever like fully like followed someone's path on it. You know, I would catch it with my folks and stuff. But in season 25 is kind of when I hopped on and I found some favorites. Josh Sanders on that season. He's great. And Tay Lewis he's originally from North Carolina, but living in Nashville. So I got to follow a couple of those. And then I knew some of the season 26 folks as well. So it was cool to follow their journey.
We were big on the show with Jordan Smith from our area was on there.
Yeah.
He just blew everybody's minds. Have you ever met him? Because he is a local guy.
Yeah, so Jordan is from Harlan and All Fest Choir, like South Laurel. I went to South Laurel, so we were always in there with Harlan. I remember the first time I heard Jordan Smith sing, it was like he was doing a solo, and I was like, who is this? Like,
people are built that way.
Incredible voice. Yeah, he's great. I don't know if he would know me from Adam now, but yeah, I knew him in high school.
Do you think this show is going to bring you into some kind of like voice community, like you guys are having like reunions or shows, anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know about reunions, but I do know that there's definitely a community among a lot of the contestants that I know. A good friend of mine, Robert Hunter, he just aired last week. He and I are going to start doing some shows together. There's people that I actually can't say that I met out there because, you know, they may or may not have aired. But I plan on making it down to Texas and playing with some friends I've made, making it out to Omaha, playing with some friends I've made. So that kind of thing, you know, I knew there's a possibility I may not even get to be on the show. And so I went in it business minded of like, okay, how can I link my runs together, you know, go from Louisville out to Kansas City, out to Omaha. And, you know, in the music industry, that's kind of the way you make it work. If you've never been to an area, somebody will help you out and put you as an opener. So.
Oh, I see. So,
yeah. So I was making a lot of those connections, for sure.
So a few text groups.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Or I mean, honestly, I got to be introduced to a lot of really great artists, and I love listening to new music. So that was cool too.
Yeah, it seems like the music industry is a lot like the real estate industry in that it's a relationship game.
Yeah, I think every business is a people business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But it definitely is very relational based, especially. And there's politics, just like there is in real estate. So,
all right, how's your wife handling all the attention?
I think it was pretty overwhelming for her at first because like my phone blew up, but so did hers. Like people were just like, and a lot of people were trying to be respectful to me, knowing that my phone was going to blow up, so they were texting my wife. But a lot of people did that. So, but she's good now. I told her that. There's a shot of her in the garden on the show, and she's got like muck boots and like just like sweatpants. And then she wore this beautiful green jumpsuit for my audition, and I told her I was gonna make a post of like, get you a girl that can do both.
So everybody since you knew from age 3 reached out?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a lot of people was coming out. I think we're related. You know, that kind of thing.
Long lost cousins.
But yeah. But no, it's been all overwhelmingly positive. It's been overwhelming, but like I can't say enough of how much I appreciate the support. Just because, I mean, I've been doing this thing for a long time, and it feels really good to have people excited about my music career. And I think if I could pick anything for it to spotlight, it's not necessarily my voice. It's all of these songs that I have written and continue to write. I love songwriting, and I'm very serious about the craft of songwriting, and I just hope people can get turned on to the songs more than anything.
So you sung Bob Seger. What were some of your biggest influences growing up? I know you like some Southern rock, and we talked about Seger and stuff. What were some of your biggest influences that you kind of mimic or something some of your favorite artists?
Yeah, I would say like growing up, it was a lot of the Beatles and CCR, excuse me, and the Eagles. But as I got older, really got really heavy into like Leonard Skinner,
yeah,
the Allman Brothers, And then Don Williams. My dad loves Don Williams, and so that's a big country influence of mine.
Okay.
Kings of Leon, Avett Brothers. My son's name is Avett, so after the Avett Brothers. So.
Yeah, I think everybody had Kings of Leon phase there for at least some amount of time. That was the only band that you said they actually recognized. It's bad. That's why I've got Josh on here. I can talk real estate and business all day, but music's definitely a blind spot.
So are you releasing your original music? Is that what you said? You have some dates coming up to release that?
Yeah, so I fronted a band called Jordan Allen and the Bellwethers from 2013 to December of 2024, and we put out 60-plus songs, whether that be on a record, an EP, or a single.
Yeah.
So spent a lot of time putting out original music, but going forward, I rebranded to just Jordan Allen and released the first single called I Got It Bad on February 12th. March 12th is a song called The Curse, and from there on out to December, it'll be a song a month.
What streaming services can we get that on?
Anyone that you use, I think. It should be across the board everywhere.
I think your episode aired February 15th. Is that what you said?
February 10th.
So your episode aired February 10th. What was February 11th like?
Pretty crazy. I never had that many unread text messages, and I get anxiety about text messages anyway, so I already have like a bunch of unread ones. But that was wild. I just tried to take it in stride. Ecclesiastes says, I'm paraphrasing, but there's a season for everything, and I just kind of took it as like, this is a season for me to be on my phone and saying yes to things. And I don't like to be on my phone a lot, but I wanted to make sure that each and every person that expressed, congratulations, I wanted to get back to them. I couldn't get to all the comments, but the messages for sure.
All right. So what was your prep like before actually going out on stage?
Practicing a lot. Like the day of, you kind of try to get your mind ready and make sure your song's down. At some point, you can only practice it so much, and make sure you're there. But really, it was more of a mental prep, and that just involved a lot of prayer and just a lot of like reminding myself that yes, this is the biggest performance of my life. But at the end of the day, I felt like I controlled all of the variables that I could control, and everything else was out of my hands.
So, you of the world of songs, why did you pick the song you went with?
A lot of I would say most of my favorite records are made before 1980, and so that was a song that was released in the 70s, and he's even talking about songs before then, how he misses those, the old time rock and roll, and I just felt it was very representative of my brand as an artist and as a songwriter.
We really enjoyed watching a guy from our area on TV. That was really, really fun. It's surreal, actually. Mm-hmm. Like my wife saying, "Oh, I remember him from choir." Like, it's crazy. It's a small town, but I'd never met you before. But I'm really glad that we could connect. I really appreciate you coming and doing the podcast with us.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll let you know, or you'll let me know when I can air it. And
That's right. I've got you on the list.
That sounds good.
Cool.
So, all right, guys. Any other questions, Josh?
I'm good.
We're gonna close it out. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and it's been another episode of the PropertyTales podcast. We'll see you next time. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Nikki.